Welcome to HealthWatch, presented by Novant Health. I'm your host, June Baker. Our show features local physicians and health professionals discussing health topics of importance to local residents. Today, we will welcome Dr. Mark Tillotson, our local physician leader for the Novant Health Medical Group. Dr. Tillotson will share information on recent growth and technology advancements. Then we will meet Trevor Douglas, Manager of Food and Nutrition Services for Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, and Natalie Clark, who will share information on volunteer opportunities. Stay tuned to learn about valuable health topics with HealthWatch. Our first guest is Dr. Mark Tillotson of the Novant Health Medical Group. What a treat to have you here today, Dr. Tillotson.
Well, thanks. It's a great opportunity to be back here again. The studio's changed. It's been so long since I've been here. It looks wonderful.
I know. See, you need to come more often.
Definitely. Yes.
Well, now, in addition to being a well-respected physician and surgeon at Novant Health, I understand you have additional duties now. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. I am the physician market lead for Brunswick County and the coastal region. Mm-hmm. So I have the opportunity to work with Shelburne Stevens, who's the CEO of the hospital, right. Joanne Campbell, who's the regional manager for all the practices. And what we're doing is we're building up healthcare, not just in the hospital, but in the whole county and the whole region.
I see. So that gives you a lot of extra work to do in addition to taking care of patients.
Yeah, a lot of extra work, yes.
Well, I do understand that there's been lots of growth within the medical group in recent months. And I know we've had several new providers here on the show. And so let's talk a little bit about those providers.
Okay, yeah, it's been very exciting. What we've done is we've gotten a lot of new primary care physicians in the area, mm-hmm. which we really needed because we were short.
We did, yes.
So now, I mean, people are going to get sick, but there's no excuse for not getting well because we have people to help. And besides that, we're actually growing a number of regions within the county, different areas where we didn't have quite a presence. Mm-hmm. For example, up in the Leland area, we've added a new primary medicine practice. Uh-huh. Dr. Asbury. It's a husband and wife team, and they have a wonderful personality. They do great with all ages. They open their office at 7 in the morning, and they run it through lunch. Wow. So they have access for people all the time.
That's great.
Yeah, and then in the south end of the county, we're building a new medical office building.
I saw it on 17.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
It's very nice, yeah.
10,000 square feet. It's going to have a large primary care base in there, but down there we're also going to have radiology, labs, a number of subspecialists down there.
Mm. That would be so convenient for that southern end of the county, so folks won't have to drive all the way up there and keep them in Brunswick County.
Right, because it's a lot farther than some people think from the hospital to there. So we try to make it easy.
It is a lot farther than people think. Now there's a new Seaside Family Medicine joined, is that correct?
Yes, and that was very nice. Both Adam and Hillary Thompson, they're physician assistants who've been in private practice for years. They have a wonderful reputation. They're down there in the Sunset Beach area, and they've joined us, which is really exciting to have them there. We've taken care of their patients in the past,
right?
From a referral basis, but it's nice to have them there.
Now, I know in your own practice in Novant Health Surgical Associates, you have a new partner, is that correct?
Yeah, actually it's been very exciting for us. We've added Dr. Max Beninati. Mm-hmm. He
was actually on our show.
Oh, was he? Okay, yes, and he has tremendous credentials from the Baltimore area in advanced laparoscopic surgery. Mm-hmm. And we also added a while ago, who you probably know about, is Lisa Long, who is our nurse practitioner, right. But she also is starting up a breast specialty care center and working to do counseling outside of the hospital with people who've had breast cancer.
Yes, and we're going to work with her in conjunction with the Komen funds that we've received.
Yes, thanks to you. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So that's going to be a great partnership for us. And then I think there's a new plastic surgeon, Dr. Kahn.
Yes, and Philip Kahn, he's been with us a little over a year, and he covers all kinds of plastic surgery, not only cosmetic but reconstructive, things like hand surgery. And the exciting thing about him, and I have to tell you about a couple of the other practitioners, we're getting high-quality physicians in this area. I don't know if you know this, but Dr. Kahn has published 2 more book chapters under the Novant Health moniker that are going into some very important textbooks for plastic surgery.
Wow.
So he's extremely accomplished, and he does wonderful work.
Wow.
And we also added, John Lamphere, who's
Yes, I've met him personally and
Yes.
professionally.
And he's a nice guy from all
Very.
aspects, yes.
Yeah.
And but what a lot of people may not know about him is he spent years as a intensivist. So his expertise in terms of procedures like colonoscopies and EGD is very good, but he also is an excellent clinician. And then there was one other I wanted to brag on that I remembered really impressed me that
Sheetsley?
we don't realize about that. Dr. Sheetsley, yes, he came from a well-known residency program in Charlotte, has joined us. And then we also have had the urology boom where we have Lydia Labachetta and Steve
yes.
Robbins.
Yeah.
Lydia does a wonderful job, and Steve came with 17 years of training and was chief of surgery where he was for part of the time while I was in New York. So these are very good people.
So the medical group is really just filled with very professional, very well-credentialed folks. And that's so great for Brunswick County because no longer do you have to go outside Brunswick County for your care.
Right, and we're trying to incorporate every aspect of care that we can here for people in any way they need it.
That's wonderful. And with all the technology that's happening at the hospital with the new electronic medical record, and with smartphones, I can tell how long it's going to take me in the ER. And there's just, and Fitbit. I understand Fitbit connects. And
Yes, we have. I guess some of it's a blessing and some of it's a curse.
yeah, I can imagine.
The nice aspects of the electronic medical records, and there's many of them, many more good than bad, is just the quality of care that we're able to give people. Some of the areas at Novant Health actually have retinal identification, and they actually had a patient come in a coma. They didn't know what was wrong with the patient, and they scanned the eye and could identify the patient, what sort of medical problems they had, and then they could determine why she was having that problem, which is remarkable. They wouldn't have been able to do that before.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm like astounded. I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we also have the Fitbits. I just have to mention about the Fitbits because that's kind of interesting. About 50 million people in the United States have Fitbits.
I'm not one of them. How come?
I don't know. That's okay. My wife gave me one, and sometimes it was kind of embarrassing to see how little I did. But the nice thing about it is that all the information in all the Fitbits are downloadable on the Novant Health app or on the MyChart app. So you can actually be accountable for how you've done in terms of your heart rate, number of steps, things like that. So it allows the physician to see that so he can know real time how things are going if that's important. But it also allows the patient to be able to have a record account that we're happy to keep for you in your MyChart account.
Wow, that's great. And I noticed the other day when I was in the outpatient area, there's a kiosk in there that you kind of like sign yourself in.
Yes.
Is that something coming down the pike for physician offices?
Yes, I think we're going to have that in the physician offices also, which will be good.
Yeah.
You can't make airline reservations or car reservations, no. But it's great for that. But I do want to stress, even though we have that, in the offices, there's still absolutely positively the personal touch. You can go talk to anybody that you want, but it's just that initial record keeping, you can get that done and you don't have to spend time doing that.
Well, I know in your office, a kiosk will never replace Melanie or Heather.
No, absolutely not.
That'll never happen. And I saw an ad on TV the other day, an e-visit, like Skyping. That's something new at Novant too, right?
Yes, coming soon. It's in some other markets and it'll be here soon.
Coming soon.
Yes, and it'll give us the opportunity to be able to talk to our patients without them having to drive in, take the time to get in, because a number of issues can be dealt with, not necessarily with an examination, but with a conversation, face-to-face conversation.
Great thing for vacations.
Absolutely.
Well, let's wrap up, Mark. We're short on time. What have you got to say? What else would you like to say about the growth?
I just have to say, you've been with Novant Health for a long time.
Very long.
It's exciting to work with a company that is so focused on taking care of patients. And bottom line is, I think that's what we try to do the best. And anything we can do to advance that for the people in the county, it's a wonderful opportunity to do that. Thanks for allowing me to be on here today.
I agree. And thank you so much for coming. Our next guest is Trevor Douglas, Manager of Food and Nutrition Services at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Well, hey, Trevor, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. I understand that you recently relocated and joined Novant Health. So tell me a little bit about your role here at Novant Health.
So I'm the food service director at Brunswick Medical Center. So that involves taking care of all of our patients that are at the hospital, making sure that they have a nutritional diet, as well as our cafeteria, all the operations for that. So 7 days a week, cafeteria food.
Busy job, busy
yeah.
job. Tell me more about your background, where you went to school, and how you got to be the director of food and nutrition.
So I went to school at Clemson University in South Carolina, a bachelor's degree in food science. So I went to be a dietitian originally. So I started with a food service company as a dietitian and worked my way up to director. Just saw the opportunity where I had that I liked operations, so I thought I would enjoy that better than trying to restrict people, doing diet educations all the time.
Yeah.
I felt that, in operations you had opportunity to give people things that they like, things that they enjoy, and make people happy.
Wow. Well, I know there's some exciting things happening at the cafeteria at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. So let's start with the basics. When are you open, and can customers, what can they generally expect to find there?
Sure. So we're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. During breakfast hours, you can get traditional breakfast. We have a grill that's open, so you can have breakfast to order. And at lunch, we have different stations, if you would call them. We have a salad bar that's prepared fresh daily. We have grill items that people can do to order. We have a pasta and pizza station. And we also do a hot entree line, your traditional buffet style. And we're trying to incorporate action stations where we have themes that people can come in and get fresh items prepared the way they like them. An example would be kind of like a Chipotle style or Moe's or, pasta bars, things like that.
Yeah. So the cafeteria is open to the public as well as the employees. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Anyone could come in, and we'd encourage them to.
Now, you mentioned several different stations. Tell me a couple other items that might be, like I know you've had a Mediterranean day. What else might we find at that special station, that action station?
Sure. We try to do themes that people may know, but also incorporate things that they may not be as familiar with so that they can try new foods. So like a Mediterranean station or an Asian station where we have stir fries, but there's a lot of fresh vegetables and fresh items that people may be willing to try that if you already have them cooked for them, they may not be willing to try them.
Oh, I see, yeah. Now, you always have the grill, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of, what can we expect at the grill?
So the grill, we always have, veggie burger, we have a black bean burger, we have grilled chicken sandwiches, hamburgers, and then we have tenders and fries. We also feature a special sandwich at the grill. So for this month, our special is a pork burger with sriracha, ranch, and a blue cheese slaw. So we'll run that for a few weeks, and then we'll kind of rotate to a different. So we had a fried green BLT sandwich, or just different sandwiches to try to make it just interesting for people to come and eat with us all the time, so they're not getting the same thing.
Now, I heard there's something called No Fry Friday.
That's correct.
You still have that?
We do.
And tell us about that and how that came about.
So healthcare in general is trying to go where everything in our building is healthy. So one of the things that we do is a No Fry Friday. So everything that's fried is not available on Friday. So we do baked potato wedges at the grill instead of French fries. Another thing that we've done is, everything close to the registers at the hospital is under certain calories, under a certain amount of fat. Just to encourage people for those impulse buys that they're doing things that are
right
healthy
before you check out.
Yeah.
I didn't know the philosophy behind that.
So
That's interesting.
It's not to be mean or anything. It's just to try to encourage people that they're looking for something sweet right at the register. They might be willing to pick up a fruit or pick up something that's a little bit better for them.
Now, I've heard that you offer like healthy options for a month or something like a superfood or something.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so every month we produce a superfood item. So this month it's apples. We've had blueberries or peaches or tomatoes.
Avocados?
Avocados. You always try to, a superfood is a food that has some other benefit outside of just what you would see. So like antioxidants or different vitamins that would be beneficial. So what we do is try to incorporate that food into different recipes throughout the month. We usually have a seasonal table, so as soon as you walk in the cafeteria, you'll see what that food is, maybe have some recipes or some information about that food, and then look in the cafeteria for other places where we serve the food.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty interesting. Now, the holidays are just around the corner, and will there be anything special going on in the cafeteria to celebrate the upcoming Thanksgiving and then Christmas?
Yeah, so traditionally you'll have a Thanksgiving meal in the cafeteria. One of the things that we're probably going to do is offer pies pre-order. So
cool.
Pecan pie, pumpkin pie, apple pie. So just to kind of help people that are not baking so much at home can pre-order pies.
That'd be
just
nice.
come to the cafeteria and we'll set you up.
Oh, that'd be nice. So let's talk about the patients a little bit. I understand that the hospital offers something kind of like room service or something. Tell me about that. I think it might be called on-call dining.
Yeah, Dining on Call is our program at the hospital. So it's available 6:30 in the morning until 6:30 at night.
Okay.
A patient can call, and everyone has the same menu. And so what we're trying to do is teach people while they're at the hospital how to incorporate things that they like and still fit whatever the doctors order for them. So someone who has a diabetic or has a cardiac diet can still incorporate maybe foods that are sweet or foods that maybe are a little bit salty, knowing that there's a compromise that they have to give up something at another meal to get what they like. So it gives our employees the call center that answer the phone, they are able to talk to the patient and walk them through that so that they can make that same decision when they're outside on their own once they get better.
Well, when a patient calls, do they get someone in the department there at the hospital?
Yeah,
correct?
right in our kitchen. There's someone there that's the whole
really
time.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I like that idea. Rather than somebody just bringing me breakfast at 7:30 and I'm not ready to eat, and it's something I don't like.
Yeah, and people can, like you say, some people like breakfast early, some people like breakfast later, or dinner early, dinner later, and they can choose the time when they call. I
like that.
Yeah. So it gives the patient more flexibility, gives them the foods that they want to eat.
Well, it's more like being home.
Yeah, and still meeting the diet that the doctors prescribe for them.
Absolutely. That's great. Now, you have a dietitian within the hospital, I know that. And how does he or she get involved in activities when it comes to patients?
So they supervise all of our employees that deal with patients, the dietitian does, and she also analyzes all of our menus to make sure that they fit the diet restrictions that the doctors place. We have a computer program that's our menu board, so when the patient chooses something, it keeps track of how much fat and how much sodium, so we know whether they're going over or under, and so then they can relay that information to the patient, like, oh, you have a little bit more carbohydrates, you can choose another choice, or you have to back off so much salt, so here's another option that you can choose.
So that system really keeps track of everything and takes the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
So you know exactly.
And we can go back and see what they had yesterday or the day
track
before.
It.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Well, this has been really helpful. I've learned so much today from you, Trevor. Is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up?
I just encourage anybody that wants to come in and eat with us. We'd love to have you. I think we're trying to do some exciting things, fresh things. So, love to have you.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, and I look forward to you coming back at some point, and we'll talk about something new in the cafeteria again.
Sure.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Trevor. Now, we welcome Natalie Clark, Volunteer Coordinator for Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Welcome to the show today, Natalie. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
First of all, let's start by learning about your role at the hospital. What is it that you do at Brunswick Medical Center?
Sure. I am the volunteer coordinator. I assist with the day-to-day activities of the volunteers and with the scheduling and some community events.
Sounds like fun.
It is fun.
Well, good. Now, I understand that you were once a volunteer at the hospital. Is that correct?
That's true. I started volunteering at the old hospital in November of 2008. I started out helping in the gift shop and with medical staff services, and was part of the startup committee for our Compassionate Clothes Closet, and was a recording secretary on our volunteer council for 2 years. And then when we opened our new hospital, I came along and received my position in guest services. Then I started helping with the volunteers on their day-to-day activities, and started with the scheduling, and in June of 2013 I accepted the position as the volunteer coordinator.
Wow. It took a little while to get there, but
Yes.
I'm sure that you enjoyed your volunteer activities.
Very rewarding.
Yes. I know, or I understand that you're in the process of recruiting new volunteers, I believe. And how many volunteers do you currently have?
Currently we have about 150 adult volunteers, about 11 juniors, and 18 chaplains. And we are looking to add more volunteers to our program to assist with some of our current volunteer positions, and looking to add a few more new positions to our schedule.
Well, as you recruit new volunteers, are there specific roles that you're looking to fill?
We are. We have positions in our guest services area.
And that is at the front desk?
Yes, it is. They would greet the people coming, patients, family coming into the hospital, and help them with directions. We also are looking for our gift shop. We have positions in our emergency department where they would help in the back with stocking, and also as greeters, same as guest services, in the lobby areas. In our surgical areas, we have transport, where they help, our volunteers help bring out the same day surgical patients back out to their vehicles. And our surgical wait area, we have our supply and materials department. And we're looking to add some new areas, which one is called the clinical care area volunteer greeter, and we're looking to begin our adult coloring program and pet therapy.
Wow, there's a lot to offer.
Lots going on.
My goodness, I didn't realize there were that many opportunities for volunteers. How about specific requirements? If I wanted to become a volunteer, what might I need to have in my repertoire, so to speak, to become a volunteer?
To become a volunteer, you would just need to pick up an application, and you can do that by calling the hospital at 910-721-1000 and ask for an application, or you're welcome to stop by the hospital and pick up an application. You would just come through the main entrance of the hospital to our guest services desk and ask our operator or volunteers there, and they'd be happy to provide that application to you.
But are there requirements that you must meet in order to become a volunteer?
There are. We ask that for our adult volunteers, you're at least 18 years of age. You have to receive a flu shot. Finally, they would need to attend a new volunteer information session, which is held once a month.
Well, great information, Natalie. I assume that there's a specific training that volunteers are provided prior to starting their jobs. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Each of our volunteers would complete an annual education, which includes information about our hospital and safety processes, and then they would have a one-on-one training in each volunteer area wherever they're assigned or choose to volunteer, and they would be with another volunteer or a staff member until they felt comfortable that they were ready to start on their own.
Oh, so once they are oriented with their partner, which I would assume is a long-term volunteer,
yes,
then they may continue with that for a couple times before they go out on their own, whenever they're comfortable.
Yes, they just let us know when they're ready, and we let them start on their own.
It would be less scary like that, to have a partner, have a buddy.
Yes.
I think that would be less scary. Let's talk about working days. How many days are they expected to volunteer, or hours? How does that work?
Sure. Well, typically a volunteer works 1 4-hour shift a week. And some of our volunteers come and work 2 shifts in one day. Some may do 2 or more days a week. And we have weekend positions available. Usually the hours they're 8 a.m. to noon, noon to 4 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 8. We are a little more flexible for some that maybe have large commitments, and we could do train them and cross-train them in areas, and they could fill in as substitutes, or we could do every other week. We'll work with each individual.
So you're real flexible
Yes.
about what hours and what times of day that they come in.
Yes.
Well, that would be good, because oftentimes people who actually have jobs would still like to volunteer.
Yes.
And they might not be able to volunteer during the day, but as you said, you have evening and different hours. So.
Yes. And we have some high school students and college students and employed people that help us volunteer at the hospital as well.
So as long as they're 18 or over?
Yes.
I see. So most students, senior in high school probably, or college, would qualify for that.
That's correct.
Well, we talked about volunteerism previously on the show, and we talked about home volunteers. Let's touch on that a little bit, because I've seen some of their handiwork.
Yes, we have wonderful home volunteers. We have about 50 groups, ranging from individuals to large groups. They make anywhere from baby blankets, quilts, teddy bears, stuffed animals, baby caps, sweaters, booties, and we even have a new home volunteer group called the Brunswick Pink Angels that provide pink bags with comfort items for women that are newly diagnosed with breast cancer. So we're just really proud of all them. We started in 2013 providing a tea for these home volunteers that has a lunch and tea, and we provide supplies that they could use to make their items at home and to give back to our patients. And then if anyone was interested in becoming a home volunteer, they could just call me at 910-721-1493, or Deborah Rochelle, the manager of volunteer services, at 910-721-1484.
So in order to be a home volunteer, it's really not necessary for them to come into the hospital or work certain hours. They do it at their leisure at home?
That's correct.
Well, that's really nice.
It is
I think
nice.
that would be a great opportunity for those ladies or men who make things that would be distributed throughout the hospital. That sounds awesome. Let's talk about what's coming up. Do you have any events coming up?
We sure do. Are we speaking of fundraisers?
Yeah.
And we have our fundraisers range anywhere from our uniform sales, shoe sales, but our favorite is the Masquerade Jewelry Sale, which is coming up November 23rd and 24th. And that's a Monday and a Tuesday. And the hours on Monday are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And everyone just loves this sale. Everything is $5.
I do too.
They have jewelry and watches and scarves and clothing and bags and purses and everything. So maybe you can stop by and pick up a couple items for yourself, or maybe some stocking stuffers.
That sounds great. I love that sale. Well, this has been wonderful information today. It's been a pleasure to have you. And I look forward to having you guys back, and we'll talk some more about volunteering at Brunswick Medical Center.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to ATMC TV's Health Watch. I hope this information was beneficial for you and your family. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to see discussed on a future show, please email them to atmctv@atmc.coop. Visit NovantHealth.org for more information on Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, local doctors, and general health information. Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to join us next time for Health Watch on ATMC TV.
Stay connected with your community channel. Like ATMC TV on Facebook today.
We are ATMC TV, Channel 3 and HD Channel 910, your community channel.